to our cities and our countries, hoping refuge they will find. There are people dreaming of the homes they left behind. In the city of Chicago, as the evening shadows fall, there are people dreaming of the hills of Donegal. Sing along. In the city of Chicago, as the evening shadows fall, there are people dreaming of the hills of Donegal. 1847 was the year it all began. Deadly pains of hunger drove 1 million from the land. They journeyed not for glory, their motive wasn't greed. A voyage of survival across the stormy sea. To the city of Chicago, as the evening shadows fall, there are people dreaming of the hills of Donegal. In the city of Chicago, as the evening shadows fall, there are people dreaming of the hills of Donegal. Some of them knew fortune, some of them knew fame, more of them knew hardship and died upon the plains. They spread throughout the nation, they rode the railroad cars, brought their songs and music to ease their lonely hearts. To the city of Chicago, as the evening shadows fall, there are people dreaming of the hills of Donegal. In the city of Chicago, as the evening shadows fall, there are people dreaming of the hills of Donegal. Waves of immigration continue as before, families and orphans fleeing from the wars. Their motive isn't evil, all they want is peace, a voyage of survival across the raging sea. To our cities and our countries, hoping refuge they will find. There are people dreaming of the homes they left behind. In the city of Chicago, as the evening shadows fall, there are people dreaming the hills of Donegal, of the hills of Donegal. Thank you very much. My name is Aodh Og O'Tuama, and I'm from Cork in Ireland.
And I'm Christy Martin from San Diego, California.
And we collectively go under the name 4 Shillings Short, which is a quotation from a James Joyce short story about a musician who didn't get paid everything that was due to her. So she ended up 4 shillings short, and I thought that that was a very apt and accurate description of the state of musicians in this world, and I'm sticking to my story. And I resemble that statement.
He does.
So we took a song by Luca Bloom, brother of Christy Moore, famous Irish singer. Luca Bloom is called Barry Moore, but he changed his name to Luca Bloom. He's quite a well-known songwriter in his own stead, but he wrote this song, The City of Chicago, about the immigration of so many Irish to America, and particularly to the Chicagoland. And then we decided to add a verse to it, reflecting on the plight of so many immigrants from Syria, from Africa, from the Ukraine, etc., etc. And we asked Luca Bloom whether we could add a verse to it, and he said, well, myself and Christy, we talked about it, and we said 2 verses is enough. I went back and forth, but 2 verses is enough. So if you record it and play it, don't call it the City of Chicago. So it's now called Waves of Immigration, and we recorded that on our most recent CD. And we started off with a tune by Thurlough O'Carlin, Miss Noble and 2 reels on the hammered dulcimer and tin whistles. I was also playing a low D tin whistle, and Christy was playing a tenor mandolin called the bouzouki.
So we're going to carry on with a pirate song about a real pirate by the name of Grace O'Malley. Grace O'Malley, born in 1530, died at the ripe old age of 73. In 1603, she was the daughter of an Irish chieftain. Her father was a sea captain, as many of the O'Malley clan were, in County Mayo, at a time when the Irish chieftains still had a stronghold in Ireland. Well, Grace O'Malley wanted to be a sea captain like her father, and so she asked her dad, could she someday be a sea captain? And he said, never. Well, he said, you know, your long hair, it'll get stuck in the ropes, and besides, you're a woman. So she shaved off all her hair, and became known as Bald Groinne Whale, Bald Grace. And at the height of her career, she had 7 ships, 7 big galley ships, and commanded over 700 men. So we're going to combine a song about Grace O'Malley
with a song by Padraig Pearse, who was one of the leaders of the 1916 rising against the English. He was a school teacher. He had started a school called St. Enda's, which was an all-Irish language school. And he wrote the song, O Ro She the Vahawala, O Ro, welcome home, growing a whale, for come back with your Irish sailors to kick the foreigners out of Ireland. That hasn't happened quite yet, but we're welcoming the foreigners in now, so that's okay. Actually, Ireland, in my lifetime, has become such a wonderful, multicultural country. It's amazing to see since the 60s.
Shedava Hawaila, Oro, Shedava Hawaila, and Nisher Haktan Taureg. Come all ye men on down to the shore with me. Come and sail my ships on the Gaelic Sea. I'll bind you all to a life full of mystery. Say goodbye to the boys you used to be. Heave ho, it's off we go. Heave ho, it's off we go. Heave ho, it's off we go. We'll follow Grace O'Malley. Want to sing along? Heave ho, it's off we go. Heave ho, it's off we go. Heave ho, it's off we go. We'll follow Grace O'Malley.
One more time.
Heave ho, it's off we go. Heave ho, it's off we go. Heave ho, it's off we go. We'll follow Grace O'Malley. Say fare ye well to the land that you know so well, and the girl with secrets yet to tell. Leave them with ribbons for their curly hair, and the bonny baby that she'll have to bear. Heave ho, it's off we go. Heave ho, it's off we go. Heave ho, it's off we go. We'll follow Grace O'Malley. Oro, Shedava Hawaila. Oro, Shedava Hawaila. Oro, Shedava Hawaila. And Nisher Haktan Taureg.
Tá grain bhil he tachtar sáile ó gligarm le mar garda gaelid hain sneakil na spainig is cudishid roiger chahole.
Heave ho, it's off we go. Heave ho, it's off we go. Heave ho, it's off we go. We'll follow Grace O'Malley. Oh, grind you well, the sea queen of Ireland, brave and bold on every hand. You fight for freedom, you fight for your land. You fight to keep your only piece of land. Heave ho, it's off we go. Heave ho, it's off we go. Heave ho, it's off we go. We'll follow Grace O'Malley. Come all ye men on down to the shore with me. Come and sail my ships on the Gaelic Sea. I'll bind you all to a life full of mystery. Say goodbye to the boys you used to be. Heave ho, it's off we go. Heave ho, it's off we go. Heave ho, it's off we go. We'll follow Grace O'Malley. Oro, Shedava Hawaila. Oro, Shedava Hawaila.
Now, we have been on the road for over 25 years full-time. We did our first tour in 97. We played here in 98, in fact. 97, we did 60 gigs in 90 days, 30 states, drove 30,000 miles, and we were still talking to one another. We book ourselves, do our own publicity, make our own CDs, so we're a small business on the road. and we love it. We have a patron back in California. Whenever we're back there, we have a room available, but otherwise we're staying with friends all over the country. Now, Christy's first instrument was the sitar from India.
Now, the sitar is made out of a gourd, out of a pumpkin that's been cured to be made into the body of the instrument. There are 20 strings on the sitar, 2 layers of strings. The larger bridge holds 7 main playing strings, of which 3 are drones that sound like this. The drone strings provide a layer of harmony. 3 rhythm strings, like the 5th string on the 5-string banjo, and 1 main playing string. The sound travels down through the larger bridge into the body of the instrument, causing a smaller secondary bridge of 13 sympathetic resonating strings to vibrate. So when you hit the notes on top, the strings underneath,
so the echo you hear are the sympathetic strings resonating and reverberating.
You can also reach underneath with your long pinky fingernail and grab the sympathetic strings in a cascade. The music of India is called the raga, R-A-G-A, and the ragas are in the thousands and have been passed down in an unbroken lineage from teacher to student for centuries. I studied with a student of the great sitarist Ravi Shankar. My main teacher, Tony Karasik, toured with him for over 25 years as one of his main sitar technicians. I'm going to play for you a beautiful raga called Yaman Kalyan, a raga of love, in 4 movements. Like our Western classical music, Indian classical music is developed in movements. The first movement, very slow, introduces you to the notes of the raga, the scale going up and down. Second movement, Jor, picks up the tempo, continues to explore the raga. Then the third movement introduces a slow, stately melody in the Drupad style, kind of 12 beats, ektal, if you know Indian music, and then a faster tempoed melody is the fourth movement, and that is in Teental, 16 beats. This is Raga Yaman Kalyan.
So Christy started listening to the music of Ravi Shankar when she was 10 years old and bought her first sitar at 15. Ravi Shankar was teaching at UCLA at the time, and his protege, Tony Karasik, was the person who helped Christy get her first sitar. The gourd exploded, and get the second sitar, which is this one, and it's lasted a long time. So things collapse when she's playing the sitar. You know, it happens all the time. Move mountains. Yeah.
Or cause rainstorms.
Yeah, cause rainstorms. Yes. We played, one of the times we were here, we played a raga combined with a poem that in praise of the earth, and it's supposed to bring rain. The raga is supposed to bring rain, and Stephen's place was flooded the next day, you know. So the power of the sitar.
No worries.
So how many people remember Woodstock? Well, if you do, you weren't there. But anyway, Joan Baez sang a song there that was very famous, and then it was made very famous in Ireland by Luke Kelly of the Dubliners. And it's about a Swedish American labor organizer called Joe Hill. And this was the song she sang, and we found a little more. He was framed for a murder he didn't commit in Salt Lake City and executed by firing squad. And
He was a musician and a poet and illustrator, and he went around the country kind of helping the cause of the union, trying to form unions in the mines and factories. And so he was a person who helped to bring hope to people. And he's remembered today.
Joe Hill's last will. My will is easy to decide, for there is nothing to divide. My kin don't need to fuss and moan, moss does not cling to a rolling stone. My body, if I could choose, I would to ashes it reduce, and let the merry breezes blow my dust to where some flowers grow. Perhaps some fading flower then would come to life and bloom again. This is my last and final will. Good luck to all of you. Joe Hill. I dreamt I saw Joe Hill last night, alive as you and me. Says I, but Joe, you're 10 years dead. I never died, said he. I never died, said he. In Salt Lake, Joe, says I to him standing by my bed. They framed you on a murder charge, says Joe, but I ain't dead. Says Joe, but I ain't dead. The copper bosses killed you, Joe. They shot you, Joe, says I. Takes more than guns to kill a man, says Joe, I didn't die. Says Joe, I didn't die. man standing there as big as life and smiling with his eyes, says Joe, what they can never kill went on to organize, went on to organize. Joe Hill ain't dead, he says to me. Joe Hill ain't ever died. Where working people are on strike, Joe Hill is at their side. Joe Hill is at their side. From San Diego up to Maine, in every mine and mill, where working folks defend their rights, it's there you find Joe Hill. It's there you find Joe Hill. I dreamt I saw Joe Hill last night, alive as you and me. Says I, but Joe, you're 10 years dead. I never died, said he. I never died, said he. I never died, said he. So, Christine, probably we should go on to the Grim Reaper.
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We should go on to the Grim Reaper. That sounds like a great title for an excursion to Ireland. My father died in 2006, and my mother died in 2012. And when we came back to the States, you know, people would say to us, "Oh, we're sorry you lost your mother. Oh, we're sorry your father passed on. Oh, you're sorry your mother passed away." And we said, "No, we didn't lose them. They died. They actually died, like, you know, they died." There's a very matter-of-fact acceptance of life and death and the continuum between life and death, the spirits, the earth, the air, everything in Ireland. So we decided to go online, Google, Mr. Google, and we found a webpage devoted to euphemisms for death. And this is our last song of this set, and we have recorded this, but it will be on our next CD, but it's not on a CD so far. Hang on a minute, Christy. Oh, yes, it's so. We didn't use Kick the Bucket or Bought the Farm. And I heard something from a death doula called, she said, On the Runway. I've got somebody on the runway. And then my brother, Christy.
We were talking to his brother in Ireland, and he said, "Oh, I went to another funeral last week. We're all on the graveyard shift now." So songwriters all around the world hope that someday one of their songs might make the charts. So we figured this is the one for us. 4 shillings short, the Grim Reaper Rag. We've already had about 20 people ask us to sing it at their funeral, so we know at least it'll be very popular with dead people. So we got some going for us right now. together because this features a lot of them.
We have 4 CDs up there, none of which contains this song. We have a mailing list, and we send out a monthly email, pictures from the road, stories from the road. We also lead 2-week archaeology, music and folklore tours in Ireland. So if you're interested in those, do get on our mailing list and write down Ireland.
All right, we're ready.
And now, are you ready, Christy?
Ready, love.
Are you sure, Pat?
Go for it, Pet. Westward bound, cashed in my chips for that happy hunting ground. Crossed over the Rainbow Bridge, above the river Styx. When I sing my swan song, I'll be sleeping with the fish. Ashes to ashes and dust to dust. 6 feet under, I'm lying belly up. Kick the oxygen habit past the point of no return. I'm pushing up them daisies and helping feed the worms. Climb that golden stairway, stepped into eternity. Trip the light fantastic, join the great majority. My dancing days are over, I'm past the sell-by date. The horizontal Hilton is my final resting place. Ashes to ashes and dust to dust. 6 feet under, I'm lying belly up. Kick the oxygen habit past the point of no return. I'm pushing up them daisies and helping feed the worms. I'm disincorporated, living challenged and flatlined. Permanently out of print past the final finish line. Hopped off and terminated, I've gone beyond the veil. Return to sender, please cancel all my mail. Ashes to ashes and dust to dust. 6 feet under, I'm lying belly up. Kick the oxygen habit past the point of no return. I'm pushing up them daisies and helping feed the worms. Got a date with the Grim Reaper, rigor mortis has set in. Answered the last roll call, let the funeral begin. Don't count me in the census, I've left the earthly form. If you need to reach me, dust off your Ouija board. Ashes to ashes and dust to dust. 6 feet under, I'm lying belly up. Kick the oxygen habit past the point of no return. I'm pushing up them daisies and helping feed the worms. inspector for that heavenly compost heap was traded to the angels, play a harp and sprouted wings. I've joined the choir celestial, it's my final curtain call. Glory, hallelujah, I've risen above it all. Ashes to ashes and dust to dust, 6 feet under, I'm lying belly up. Kick the oxygen habit past the point of no return. I'm pushing up them daisies and helping feed the worms. Last verse. Put me to bed with a shovel. I'm going home feet first. Place my urn upon the hearth. I've fallen off the perch. I've finally flown the coop. I've given up the ghost on a permanent vacation, and that's all she wrote. And that's all she wrote. And that's all she wrote. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll take a break.
And I guess it's my turn.
That's right.
Like they said, we'll take a short break. Washrooms are out the door and hang a left. You can refill the cups. You can buy treats. You can buy some of the CDs that are on the counter. And we'll be back as soon as there's no line for the washroom. And it depends, this could be a long intermission, or if everybody's just going to hold it. All right, we'll be right back.
Yeah, well,
Christy, I need that drum. Got it.
How we doing there, John? Just about ready?
Yeah. I got one in the washer.
Okay, very good.
Okay, we're going to get started again. I have a few announcements to make. Next Friday is our quarterly open mic. So if you think this looks easy and you've got some inclination to stand up here in front of everybody and play, next Friday's your night. I actually have a couple of songs that I've written that I'm going to do. So we'll see if you like them, and if not, just be quiet.
it's a listening room, right?
It is a listening room, but you
No
know,
comments.
when the song ends, you are allowed to applaud and scream and carry on. Tomorrow in this room, from 2 to 4, is the Country Western Jam, which is the same as the community sings that are on the first and third Saturday. On the fourth Saturday, it's Boot Scoot and Boogie. No, country western. So there's books. You can come, you can sing, you can play, you can listen, but it's kind of dedicated to country western music. What am I missing here? Did I miss anything? Oh, I'm good? Oh, good. Jennifer said that I'm good. Hopefully my wife heard that. All right. If you guys are ready, go ahead and take it away.
So we spent 5 months living in Ireland last year, and I'm from Cork, and the neighbouring county is Kerry, and they do a lot of polkas there. Now there are polkas in Germany, polkas in Poland, polkas in Mexico, but what they did was they took the dance form and adopted it to the tunes. So we're going to start off with 5 polkas from Ireland. whistle up a slide, get fall down, fall deep for the ladle, Fianna puncher claw, and fall down, fall deep for the ladle, Wanna teeth of now, and fall down, fall deep for the ladle, Miss you go a sign to fall down, fall deep for the ladle, Rymede can hiding, Morich, ain't them, till you play them, bottom, the body delighting them, Rymede cheating barn, fall down, fall deep for the ladle, could fits at Hogwarts fly, the funnel down, fall deep for the ladle, Thank you very much. So, I was playing spoons there as well as tin whistles. The hardest thing about spoons is the hold. Once you've got the hold, then you can cup your hand above it. You can change the sound like that. You can run them down your outstretched fingers. You can do a flick and run them down your sleeve. Do stuff like that and eat soup with them. And those were words taught to me by my grandfather when I was 5 years old. I'm going to Waterford tomorrow, and there's a house there with loads of drink on the table and a house full of women, and I'll be drinking their health. That's what you teach 5-year-olds in Ireland, you know. And then I'm going to go to Cardiff tomorrow, and I'll bring a nice girl with me, and we'll go through the gap, send for the parish priest. This is early training, you know, in Ireland. So, by the way, no, before we go on to other things, that instrument there is called the bowed psaltery that I was using for...
This one here.
For the Grim Reaper rag. This is an instrument called the Gems horn. It's a Renaissance instrument. And it was a stop on the church pipe organ. This is called a crumb horn. Crumb from the German meaning curved. It's a capped double reed instrument. This is the bass crumb horn. And again, it's a stop on the church pipe organ. Etc. And I think all the rest were self-evident, alto recorder, all that kind of thing. Okay, this...
Well, we're going to carry on with the song from Ireland about a young lass by the name of Eileen. And Eileen is the youngest Eileen in the family, and so therefore she's called Eileen Og. Og means young, like Aodh. He was named after his grandfather. Well, Eileen Og was the most beautiful woman in the town of Carrignavar, otherwise known as Petravar, the Rock of Men. And all the men were so enamored of her, and yet they were too shy to ask her out for a date. And so wouldn't you know, she fell for the worst scoundrel of a man in the whole parish. And so everyone's bemoaning their fate. Eileen Og, me heart is growing gray, ever since the day you wandered far away. Eileen Og, there's good fish in the sea. But there's none of them like the pride of Petravar. That's the chorus.
This was written by Percy French, who lived in the end of the 19th century, early 20th century. He was the darling of the Victorian drawing rooms in London and in Dublin. Johnny, her features they were famous. If we loved her, then who was out to blame us? For wasn't she the bride of Petrobor?
But her beauty made us all so shy, and not a man among us could look her in the eye. Boys, oh boys, sure that's the reason why we're in mourning for the pride of Petrobor. Eileen, oh, me heart is growing grey ever since the day you wandered far away. Eileen, oh, there's good fish in the sea, but there's none of them like the pride of Petrobor. Wanna try that? Eileen, oh, me heart is growing grey ever since the day you wandered far away. Eileen, oh, there's good fish in the sea, but there's none of them like the pride of Petrobor.
Friday at the fair of Ballintubber, Eileen met McGrath, the captain jobber, and I'd like to set me mark upon the robber, for he stole away the pride of Petrobor.
And he never seemed to see the girl at all, even when she ogled him from underneath her shawl.
And looking big and masterful,
When she was looking small, most provoking for the pride of Petrobor. Eileen, oh, the heart is growing grey ever since the day you wandered far away. Eileen, oh, there's good fish in the sea, but there's none of them like the pride of Petrobor.
and so it went as it was in the beginning. Eileen Og was bent upon the winning. Big McGrath contentedly was grinning, being courted by the pride of Petrobor.
Says he, I know a girl that'll knock you into fits. At this, Eileen nearly lost her wits.
The upshot of the rupture,
Now the robber sits with his arm around the pride of Petrobor. Eileen, oh, my heart is growing grey ever since the day you wandered far away. Eileen, oh, there's good fish in the sea, but there's none of them like the pride of Petrobor.
boys, oh boys, with fate 'tis hard to grapple. Of my eye, 'twas Eileen was the apple, and now to see her walking up the chapel with the hardest featured man in Petrobor.
And now, boys, this is all I have to say. When you do your courting, make no display.
If you want them to look after you,
Then look the other way, for they're mostly like the pride of Petrobor. Eileen, Og, the heart is growing grey ever since the day you wandered far away. Eileen, Og, there's good fish in the sea, but there's none of them like the pride of Petrobor. Eileen, Og, the heart is growing grey ever since the day you wandered far away. Eileen, Og, there's good fish in the sea, but there's none of them like the pride of Petrobor.
I think there's in one verse of that song, I think there's more words than in most modern pop songs.
Let's do Kalyan, or let's do Kirwani.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back.
Okay.
So we're going to do another raga. This is a raga called Kirwani, and we brought it out during the pandemic. We were doing a benefit concert. We did a lot of benefit concerts back in 2021 because so many of our fans had generously supported us during the pandemic, and we decided to do a lot of benefit concerts. So we were doing a benefit for a theater company that we play at their theater in Fort Collins. And we got news that my uncle and aunt in Tennessee had been hit by a person that ran a red light, and they ended up in the hospital in Nashville. And my uncle, who I was named after, Christopher, I'm Christina, he never woke up after the surgery. My aunt was all right. But he was in a coma, and he loved my sitar playing. He was a decorated Vietnam War veteran, and whenever we'd visit, I'd bring out the sitar and play for him. So I was looking for a raga to express my sadness and grief, and I found this raga, which was the last one my teacher taught me, Raga Kirwani. The raga has this feeling, this rasa, as they call it. Every raga has a rasa, an emotion, a feeling that goes with it. This one has the feeling of melancholy, of loss, and sadness. So we all have experienced a lot of loss, I'm sure, through the pandemic, colleagues, family members, friends. So here's for our grief, to feel our grief, Raga Kirwani.
Whoops. There we go. Did I tell you that the sitar is so called because you have to sit to play it? Otherwise it would be called a stantar. You're welcome to boo.
Hormone.
You've enough room?
Well, the next instrument we'll bring out is the charango. The charango is a native instrument from the Andes Mountains, traditionally made out of the shell of an armadillo. Now this one's made out of wood. It's an instrument of the Renaissance. When the conquistadores came to South America from Spain, they brought with them their language and their culture and music. The lute, which is a 10-string instrument, influenced the development of this instrument. The Spanish vihuela, type of medieval guitar, and the Spanish bandira, type of medieval mandolin, went into the creation of this instrument. It has 10 strings, 5 courses of strings. So we're going to play for you a piece from the Andes called Titicaca that celebrates Lake Titicaca, which is the highest alpine lake in South America at, I think, 12,000 feet, 14,000 feet, something like that. It borders Bolivia and Peru and is a very important migratory lake for the flamingos. And it's said to be the origin of the Inca civilization.
People give us instruments all the time, but we've a moratorium on it now, because there's no more room in the van.
So first we'll play Titicaca, and then we'll follow with a song in Spanish that was popularized by Joan Baez, De Colores. It's actually a 16th century Spanish religious song with about 10 verses. But it became popular during the United Farm Workers movement, and a new verse was added to it, celebrating the colors of the people and the movement of people joining together during that time. De colores, the colors. Se vistan los campos en la primavera, the countryside in the springtime. De colores son los pajarillos of the birds que vienen de afuera, that are in the sky. Es el arco iris, the colors of the rainbow que vemos lucir. Y por eso los grandes amores, and that is why I have so much love, de muchos colores, for all the colors. Me gustan a mí, for they give me so much joy. And then you hear the song of the rooster, el gallo and la gallina and los polluelos, the chickies, the little chickens. And then de colores, de gentes, of the people, reaching out their hand, estrecha la mano, que sabe de la libertad, who know freedom in their hearts. But first, Titicaca. es el arco iris que vemos lucir. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Feel free to sing along if you know it. De colores. Sorry. Canta el gallo con el kiri, 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 kiri. La gallina con el cara, 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 cara. Los polluelos con el pío, 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 pío. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. De colores, sí, de blanco y negro y rojo y azul y castaño. Son colores de gentes que ríe y estrecha la mano. Son colores de gente que sabe de la libertad. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí.
Now, I presume people know that Ireland is a partitioned country. Is that too much of a presumption? Since 1923, it has been partitioned into the 6 counties of Northern Ireland, part of the United Kingdom, and the 26 counties of the Republic of Ireland. There is a lot of thought, a lot of conjecture that because of the mess that in the English made of Brexit, that Ireland will be reunited within my lifetime. I hope so. But who knows what will happen? It's a complicated process. But the majority of the people of Northern Ireland want to be part of the Republic of Ireland, but you don't want a civil war, you know. So there's a good friend of ours from the People's Republic of Cork, where I'm from. We call it the People's Republic of Cork, or the Rebel County. And we're probably going to secede from the rest of Ireland because we know we're vastly superior, you know.
They say that the people of Cork are the Texans of Ireland.
Yeah. A priest in Montana told me that, yeah. Don't you know that people from Cork are the Texans of Ireland? Yeah.
They're the Texans of Ireland.
Yeah.
Bullheaded, stubborn, let's see, opinionated, yeah.
No.
Oh, wait a minute. Pet, you just relax there, Pet. Don't you worry about anything.
So there's a good friend of ours, one of the best songwriters in Ireland. He's from the People's Republic of Cork.
Yes.
His name is John Spillane, and he was a student at the same high school or secondary school that I went to. I went back and did music director in several rock operas, and he was Joseph and the Amazing Technical Dreamcoat at age 13 or 14 or something like that. He then became a student of my father's at the university, and he writes both in the Irish language, one of the few who writes both in the Irish language and the English language. His name is John Spillane, and he wrote this gorgeous song, but first a little poem. Bobby Sands was the first hunger striker in the Maze prison in Belfast in 1981 to die. And he was a poet and a songwriter. And he wrote this poem. Saoirse, Freedom, by Bobby Sands. All things must come to pass as one, so hope should never die. There is no height or bloody might that a free man can't defy. There is no source or foreign force can break one man who knows that his free will no thing can kill, and from that freedom grows. I would love to see Ireland free. One thing these eyes would love to see before the darkness falls on me. I would love to see Ireland free. I would not shed one single drop of blood between the mountains and the sea. I would not see one single child laid down, but I would love to see Ireland free. Why do the men of God not come clean? Why do the churches not agree? no difference in their God. Why do the men of God not come clean? I would love to see Ireland free. One thing this heart would love to see before the darkness falls on me. I would love to see Ireland free. I would love to see Ireland free. A very strong, simple song with a great sentiment. So, Chrissy?
Be strong.
Be strong?
Yeah.
We won't do a room of avoiding it all?
Don't have time.
We don't have time? We don't have time for two?
Don't have time.
Do we have time for two? We have time for two.
All right.
Go for it.
Or I could do something with the bow wrong at the end.
I'll do something with that.
Okay.
All right. Well, this is a song that I wrote during COVID when John Lewis died, the congressman from Georgia. I admired him. I admired his words. I admired his history. He was part of the civil rights movement. He had seen so much in his life, and he always worked for nonviolent solutions. He reached across the aisle as a congressman and really tried to find consensus and agreement. So when he died, I wrote this song to paraphrase one of my favorite quotes of his. He said, "You are a light. You are the light. Never let anyone, any person, or any force dampen, dim, or diminish your light. Release the need to hate, to harbor division, and the enticement of revenge. Release all bitterness. Hold only love, only peace in your heart, knowing that the battle of good to overcome evil is already won. Make good trouble." And then I bring in quotes from other nonviolent leaders. Gandhi said, "An eye for an eye makes the whole world blind." Michelle Obama, "When they go low, then we'll go high." Dr. King, "The arc of the moral universe is long." Betty Williams, who was from Northern Ireland.
In the 80s, won the Peace Prize, Nobel Peace Prize, herself and Mairead Corrigan.
She said, "Nonviolence is the weapon of the strong." And Mairead Corrigan, "Difference, the essence of humanity." Greta Thunberg, "We can't save the world by playing by the rules." And many others. Be strong, be the light, and keep up the good fight.
Please join in if you feel so inclined. This is like being at church.
That's the chorus.
You can
Be
stand
strong,
up if you want.
Be the light. Oh no, please.
Sorry. I couldn't resist that. We just came from playing a Unitarian service. You know, stand up if you're able and join in the chorus. There we go.
The whole world blind. When they go low, then we'll go high. Do not retaliate, return love for hate, and come together for for justice and equal rights. Be strong, be the light, and keep up the good fight. Be strong, be the light, and keep up the good fight. Be strong, be the light, and keep up the good fight. Keep up the good fight. The arc of the moral universe is long. Non-violence is the weapon of the strong. We cannot change the past. The future's in our hands. To build a world that's fair for everyone. Be strong, be the light, and keep up the good fight. Be strong, be the light, and keep up the good fight. Be strong, be the light, and keep up the good fight. Keep up the good fight. We can't save the world by playing by the rules. When the facts are clear, there can be no excuse. Our planet is at stake, and we all want to change and end our dependency on fossil fuels. Be strong, be the light, and keep up the good fight. Be strong, be the light, and keep up the good fight. Be strong, be the light, and keep up the good fight. Keep up the good fight. Colors, all faiths, and all creeds. Difference, the essence of humanity. It's not how much you take, it's the difference that you make. Embrace the dream of this reality. Be strong, be the light, and keep up the good fight. Be strong, be the light, and keep up the good fight. Be strong, be the light, and keep up the good fight. Keep up the good fight. It takes courage to face the problems that we see. From climate change to police brutality, the people are rising up to say we've had enough. The time has come to shift from me to we. Be strong, be the light, and keep up the good fight. Be strong, be the light, and keep up the good fight. Be strong, be the light, and keep up the good fight. Keep up the good fight. Keep up the good fight.
All right, we'll end off with a short song in the Irish language. The Irish language was my first language. I grew up speaking Irish or Gaelic. There's Irish Gaelic and there's Scots Gaelic, so Irish Gaelic is normally just called Irish. And we're going to do a children's song in the Irish language called Aodh Og O'Tuama. And we'd love to thank everybody for coming out to see us tonight. And if you heard us on Lily Kuzman's program, call her and thank her, or condemn her, or
Or send her a little email. Send her a little email.
Give her some feedback.
Oh, thank you.
You know, and all that. And thanks to everyone here,
all
to
the
Joel,
volunteers,
and to John, and to Jen, and all the volunteers.
And Luca. And the new volunteer, Christine. Yay. All right. And if you want to volunteer, you know where to go. These are the people. Talk to them.
So to get on our mailing list, buy our CDs. There's plenty more left.
And we'll be coming
get
back
on our
through,
mailing list. Get on our mailing list, and we'll send out information to you about where we'll be. We'll be going, and we'll be East Coast, Florida, Louisiana, and all that. Then back to the UP, Michigan, next year,
and we should be
then
coming back down
we'll be
through
heading
Illinois.
back through Illinois,
In
Iowa,
October.
in October of next year. So keep tuned to us. And this is a children's song,
Called Dillian
Dillian
O'Dowse.
O'Dowse. And I'm going to lay my child down to sleep. He's a good boy. His brother Poyd is great at bringing in the hay. His sister is wonderful at the spinning wheel. He's from the west, and he's going to marry the girl from the mountain. And then how the Irish solve their overcrowding. I'm going to throw him up in the air. I'm going to throw him up in the air. I'm going to throw him up in the air so far that he'll never come down till tomorrow. There is an explanation
Well,
for
in
that.
the old Irish cottages, you have a loft, and that's where the kids sleep because it's nice and warm up there. I'm playing the Irish frame drum, the bowron, and Aodh's going to play tin whistles on this one.
Well, no, I'm
And-
going to play
And
very
spoons.
safe. No, the bowron is spelled Bodhran, but is pronounced bowron. And the bowron is usually made from goatskin. And when they run out of goatskin to make the bowron, and they have to use dog skin, it's called the bowron.
Dilly no dose, so dose, dilly no dose, so dee. Dilly no dose, so dose, so dose, so dilly no dose, so dee. Dilly no dose, so dose, dilly no dose, so dee. Dilly no dose, so dose, so dose, so dilly no dose, so dee.
Credit maroon consoin, credit maroon malay, credit maroon consoin, good doing the dilly no dose so dee.
Dilly no dose, so dose, dilly no dose, so dee. Dilly no dose, so dose, so dose, so dilly no dose, so dee.
Is bochen maar soesje, soesje, bochen maar soesje paard. Is bochen maar soesje, 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 kan in dat stoel niet kort.
Dilly no dose, so dose, dilly no dose, so dee. Dilly no dose, so dose, so dose, so dilly no dose, so dee.
Is bochelen neer en neer, bochelen neer en vaar. Is bochelen neer en neer en neer, ze kan je nooit even van.
Dilly no dose, so dose, dilly no dose, so dee. Dilly no dose, so dose, so dose, so dilly no dose, so dee.
Kach mi sauce, kach mi sauce en pastje, kach mi sauce, dat je je nooit zo mooi.
Dilly no dose, so dose, dilly no dose, so dee. Dilly no dose, so dose, so dose, so dilly no dose, so dee. Dilly no dose, so dose, dilly no dose, so dee. Dilly no dose, so dose, so dose, so dilly no dose, so dee.
Christy Martin.
And Aodh Og O'Tuama, we are 4 shillings short. Thank you.
very much.
I'd like to thank David and Carol for watching my mic and not, adding a little flavor to the performance. So I think pretty much we probably all should get some history credit with all of the stuff that they introduced to us here, languages and instruments and all like that. But did you know? Nobody gets out of the coffee house without an encore. Nobody. So
Well, we have one more that we can do for you.
just by chance, they maybe saved one. All right, so take it away, guys.
I'd forgotten that Dave Humphreys instituted that, yes.
I will leave you with a blessing. May God bless and keep you always. May your wishes all come true. May you always do for others and let others do for you. May you build a ladder to the stars and climb on every rung, and may you stay forever young, forever young, forever young. May you stay forever young. May you grow up to be righteous. May you grow up to be true. May you always know the truth and see the light surrounding you. May you always be courageous. Stand upright and be strong. And may you stay forever young, forever young, forever young. May you stay forever young. May your hands always be busy. May your feet always be swift. May you have a strong foundation when the winds of changes shift. May your heart always be joyful. May your song always be sung. And may you stay forever young, forever young, forever young. May you stay forever young. Thank you.
Christy Martin,
Aodh Og O'Tuama. We are 4
with 4 shillings short. Thank you.